This is right funny.
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 Well, this time tomorrow, I'll be on the plane.
It's never holiday time again, is it?
No, I wish. I'm taking an inch off the bottom of the door.
This is right funny.
Bring out the prisoner and set the plank. You know why you're here?
Yes.
It was simply terrible what you did. Uncalled for, uncouth. I simply won't stand for it on my ship. We have standards, you know.
I'm sorry. Really sorry.
That's as may be. But I have to set an example. Now, come along to the plank. There. It's not a long walk, is it? Pike!
Yes, Captain?
What? Who are you?
Pike, sir. You shouted for me.
No, I meant one of you scurvy dogs. Bring a pike. A long stick thing with a pointed end. To urge the prisoner along the plank and off the end.
No need, Captain. I'll go anyway.
Oh, all right, thank you. Now then, off you go.
Yeah, he won't have time to drown. The sharks will get him before he takes a breath.
What did you say? Sharks?
There are thousands of them in these waters, Captain. Big, fierce man-eaters.
Oh dear, that sounds most unsavoury. Oh, and look at that plank. It's so very rough. Where's the joiner? Anyone will get a really nasty splinter from that. Oh, that was a big wave. Nearly fell over myself. Can't have you falling into the sea. It's so rough. I think we'll have to give this a little more thought. Here, take the prisoner below and give her some more food. The poor devil looks half starved. And see if she'd like to wash before bed. Do you read?
No, sir.
Never mind. I've been thinking about giving some lessons. The men might derive some benefit from the classics. Bosun, come here.
Aye, Captain.
How many times have I told you to keep up the dusting? This rail is filthy. And I'd wager that the sails are creased if we unfurl them. Well, should I give the command? Shall we see if the sails are fit to be seen?
No, sir.
No, sir? No, sir, they're not fit to be seen, or no, sir, they're not creased.
Not fit, sir.
Right, Bosun, no hot chocolate for you tonight. And the men are to be in their bunks by 9. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
It's little wonder we pirates have got such a bad reputation, is there?
This is right funny.
Oh, I wish I was going on holiday, Tom. I absolutely love flying.
I can't say it's my cup of tea, like. It doesn't half make my arms ache.
I bet you didn't know I once applied for an airline pilot's job. I didn't get it, like. More's the pity.
Ah, don't tell me. You'd have been in it for the long haul. This is right funny.
Thank you for coming to this selection event. You all watch the Winter Olympics and reckon you could have a bash?
Yeah.
Now, none of us have any experience whatsoever, but I've been doing some research. I've seen Cool Runnings, Blades of Glory, Frozen.
I think you need a bit more expertise than watching films, one of which isn't even about winter sports.
Well, from Cool Runnings, I learnt about triumph over adversity.
That's not quite...
From Blades of Glory, I learnt that people will always doubt your ability, but ultimately be made to believe in you.
That still isn't...
And from Frozen, I learnt when to tell people when to let it go, let it go.
I'm leaving.
Don't go. You're perfect. You can be the player that can't get on with the coach. But in the end, we learn something valuable from each other.
Idiot.
That's the spirit. Right. Has anyone else got any relevant experience?
Oh, well, I have a very tragic backstory that gives me an extra incentive to win.
Which is?
My girlfriend was killed by a giant slalom.
And will that help you work harder?
I can do a training montage while looking wistfully at a treasured keepsake.
You just made the team. Anyone else?
I'm down and out looking for one last shot at the big time.
What happened to you?
I got kicked off Denton on Ice for calling Christopher Dean a slidey wazzock.
Perfect. Any chance you can all start off fighting and hating each other, but then come together as a team?
Yes! Do you really think we can win?
bunch of ragtag Brits against well-equipped teams who spent their lives training on actual snow. How can we lose? Okay, we're cutting it a bit fine, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Anytime you want to look meaningfully at me before hitting the winning shot, feel free. Come on, anytime. Ah well, left it open for a sequel.
New York, Tom. They reckon that's the place to be.
Big Apple.
No thanks, I've only just had my dinner.
This is Right Funny. Well, gentlemen, I'm pleased to inform you that you're now certified Meadowhall security guards. Mrs. Thick here will be your head of security. Congratulations, Tom, Dick and Harry. Now, as you know, we don't let just anyone do this job. We need trustworthy, honest, respectable people. A security guard must be able to completely trust his superiors and fellow personnel. And I believe that statement applies more than ever here due to the fact that you're all brothers.
Wait a minute. You mean to say this lot are all brothers?
Yes, sir. Tom, Dick and Harry Foreman at your service, sir.
And in a peculiar case of nominative determinism, they've all been foremen in some capacity or another with their eldest sibling, Fred Foreman, who has worked here for the last 10 years.
Oh, yes, good old Fred. Oh, I look forward to the forming of the foreman, foreman, foremen.
Indeed. Now, at Meadowhall, we do have our fair share of security incidents, don't we, Mrs. Thick?
Well, you're telling me last week some prankster decided to lace my tea with laxative and then lock the door to the ladies.
Yes, the chaps don't really need to know about that, Mrs. Thick. Now, let's imagine you've spotted a customer physically assaulting a member of the shop staff.
And what's worse, when I finally managed to get in, the twit decided to hide the bog roll. What an absolute...
Dick, could you tell me how you'd restrain such a person?
Don't let him near the toilet roll, sir.
No, not that. I mean if you see a violent customer.
Well, I would find a way to disable him, sir.
Excellent. Now, Tom, step forward, please. I want you to imagine that you are said customer, a vicious, agile young thug. Now, I want you to run and attack me. Well, come on then.
Ah!
As I'm sure you've noticed, I now have complete control of the attacker. I have winded my opponent, leaving him totally incapacitated. From here, I can simply let go, and my assailant will drop to the ground. Now, let's take this further still, and imagine that our attacker is armed with a knife, which he intends to extract quickly from his pocket. From here, one can execute the following judo hold to restrain him. I place my right arm around his neck thus, and my left hand restrains his knife hand thus. This renders him totally unable to retaliate or fight back, and...
Stab.
What?
I've got the knife in the other pocket. I'm left-handed.
Yes, well, obviously this particular technique isn't always suitable. You might only want to use this against an assailant who has just one arm. I mean, you've got to be prepared for all eventualities, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Now, moving on. Guns. Now, Harry, you have a very small pistol.
You can't fight nature, Harry.
Shut up. Now, you want to be stealthy. You want to cause as little commotion as possible, but you need to get past me, so you've equipped a silencer. Now, I want you to slowly creep on me as you attempt to approach me unnoticed. I shall turn my back. Now, as you can observe, I'm not giving the slightest inclination that I know exactly what's going on behind me. I know precisely where he is and what he plans to do. Not only that, but I know exactly how close he is to...
Bang!
What?
Too late. I've shot you.
Well, that just wasn't fair, was it? I mean, I couldn't hear you. Listen, do it again, but this time stamp a bit louder.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you've got to give me a chance, haven't you? Right, start again. Now, observe, please, as I maintain my calm composure whilst I...
Bang!
Yes. Well, you're very unlikely to have to deal with guns anyway. Get back in line, Harry. Now, there are occasions when, of course, it can be more difficult to detect whether a person is carrying an offensive weapon. Times such as the popular Comic-Con event at the nearby arena, in which many are dressed as their favourite film and television characters. Many of these attendees pass through Meadowhall en route. The question is that a genuine weapon, or is it fashioned from cardboard or paper?
Well, paper can actually be very dangerous, really, sir.
Oh, definitely. It's nothing worse than a paper cut.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a nuclear bomb, not an axe in the groin, nothing.
What about standing on an upturned plug? That's pretty painful.
You've clearly never stood on a piece of Lego, mate.
OK, now, Mrs. Thick has worked here as a Meadowhall security guard for 15 years. Now, Mrs. Thick, could you inform our staff members about a recent incident that has occurred to you?
Well, there I was with my knickers down, no bog roll in hand.
Something relevant, please, Mrs. Thick.
Oh, well, sir, just the other week when one of these Comic Cons events was going off, I spotted a man dressed as Mr. Blobby with an associate in disguise as Austin Powers, attempting to escape with some stolen jewellery from Beaverbrook's. That sort of thing, of course, is all too common. I immediately radioed the lads, and within seconds we had guards on every exit.
And I trust the thieves were safely apprehended.
No, sir, they escaped.
Ugh. Just get to work, the lot of you.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir.
Very well, sir.
Mrs. Thick,
Yes, sir?
you said you immediately radioed all the guards in the building.
Yes.
And they responded.
Yes.
And within seconds you had a guard on every exit.
Yes.
Then how on earth did they escape then?
Oh, that was simple, sir. I'm afraid he managed to fool us by leaving through one of the entrances.
This is right funny.
I've had a few people say that New Jersey's a bit of all right.
Do you really think so? The colour's all right, like, but I still think it's a bit long in the sleeves.
The next time I go away, I'm taking the wife to Italy.
Do you know her?
I should hope so. We've been married 25 years.
Yes, it's £200 for the first hour and £150 for each additional hour. Oh, well, you're free to shop around, of course, but you won't find a better deal, I can assure you. No, I use my own bicycle pump. It's more hygienic that way. All right, suit yourself. You've got my number if you change your mind. Goodbye, Your Holiness. Come. Ah, good morning. Tompkins, isn't it?
Sir?
Sir Tompkins? Cracky, that's impressive. How'd you manage to swing a knighthood at your age?
No, sir, it's just plain Tompkins.
Oh, I see. Well, don't be shy, plain Tompkins. Park your peach fuzz. What can I do for you today?
Well, Professor Nesser, I'm after some careers advice.
And why have you come to me?
Well, because you're the school careers advisor, sir.
Am I? Goodness gracious, so I am. I thought my voice sounded familiar. So you're looking to venture forth into the big, bold world of work, are you? Splendid. Which branch of government took your fancy? Home Office? Foreign Office? Treasury?
No, sir, I don't want to go into government.
Oh, ecclesiastical man, eh? Well, Archbishop of Canterbury, spoken for right now, but there might be a vacancy coming up in York soon.
No, sir, I'm an atheist.
In that case, I've got the perfect job. Head of Light Entertainment at ITV.
No, sir, I've already made up my mind what I want to do. I want to work in a factory.
A factory? That word sounds unsettlingly familiar. I'll need to look it up. Good grief, man, you can't be serious. I thought we got rid of those things years ago.
No, sir, there are still a few left up north.
Up north? Please, Tompkins, I'll thank you not to use that kind of language in my office. Why, in the name of Thatcher's chalky bones, would you want to work in one of those places?
It's something I feel I have to do, sir.
Oh, stop talking nonsense, boy. You can't work in a factory. You can own a factory as long as you intend to close it down and have it converted into some trendy flats that the locals can't afford. I can't believe what I'm hearing. It's got to be some kind of joke. Oh, hold on a minute, you little scallywag. Nice one, Tompkins. You really had me going there. What is it, Rag Week or something? Oh, that takes me back. We pulled some ripping japes in my day, like the time me and Snorty Watkins spiked the punch at the Founders' Day dinner. Oh, so many body bags.
This is no joke, sir. I'm deadly serious. I want a job where I can use my hands. I want to be working class.
Confound it, Tompkins, don't make me wash your mouth out with soap and water. The parents who send their offspring to this school have certain expectations, and they don't include donkey jackets, dirty overalls and bum cleavage. Besides, the working class these days don't actually work. They drink, and they breed, and they go on the Jeremy Kyle show. Manufacturing in this country is dead. We ran it over with the Range Rover of free enterprise and stuck its head in the trophy case of capitalism. We don't make things anymore. We're civilized.
But, sir, don't you see? That's where we've gone wrong. We've lost touch with our roots. The country was at its greatest when it was the workshop of the world. We were a titan of industry, bestriding the globe with bones of steel, a furnace in our belly, and steam in our trousers. There was a time in this country when the most valuable natural resource we had was the honest sweat on a working man's brow, and the coins of the realm were the calluses on his hands. Now I want to be in that world, the land of the soot-smudged sunrise and the wheezy dog end. Now I want to share a chick butty with a welder, and exchange manly grunts as we ogle a bountifully boobed lasmag nymph. I want to take off my shirt as I plough the ground with my tool, and then catch the eye of the botter's daughter. At first she would be repulsed by my boorish manners and tenement musk, but soon she would fall under the spell of my rough-hewn charms, and we would share sweaty clandestine rendezvous in the back alley of a pub after a Chumbawamba concert, where our animal passions would find release. That's what I want to get back to, sir. Our heritage, our birthright.
This is because you haven't got a girlfriend, isn't it, Tompkins? My dear boy, you must realise something. You're not an attractive person. You're an oily little public school tick. The mere sight of you is enough to make any human girl vomit out every ounce of fluid from her body. The only hope you have of acquiring a mate is at the debutante's ball next year. A fine, sturdy, angular Tory wife will be selected for you, a lady with a stomach not for turning. Until then, if you have a romantic itch that needs to be scratched, then there's always the public toilet upon Cottageham Heath.
No, sir, my mind is made up. This is a matter of principle.
I didn't want to do this, Tompkins, but you have forced my hand. You want to be working class, do you? Fair enough. But first I think you should have a glimpse of what it is you will be letting yourself in for. This is an actual working class person. I think you might benefit from hearing firsthand from someone who's experienced the lifestyle that you apparently idolise so.
Please help me! He's had me locked in the cupboard for 5 weeks. I've been surviving on mothballs and my own armpit sweat. Call the police.
Silence! All right, perhaps that wasn't such a good idea. Let me try a different tack. Percy, could you come in here for a moment, please? This is Professor Percy Pinch. During the 1980s, he spent an enormous length of time working undercover, gathering intelligence on a bizarre cult. What did they call it, Percy?
National Union of Mine Workers.
Ugh, how horrid. Just the sound of it makes my flesh creep. Percy, go ahead and tell this brash young man all about your experiences during your time with these sickos.
Well, I don't remember too much. Took a few truncheon hits to the old noggin. All part of the cover, though. I remember this man in a baseball cap, and underneath it he had the most terrible comb-over. He made us do things, unspeakable things. I thought the Billy Bragg bootleg tapes were as bad as it could get, but they were just warming up.
There, old chap, you're safe now.
For the love of Tabbit, they made me eat pot noodles. Do you hear me, boy? Pot noodles!
Thank you, Percy. You've been most helpful. You can go back to your trains now.
Yes, Thomas will make it better. Choo-choo!
That's given you something to think about, hasn't it? That's cracked your rose-tinted Ray-Bans, eh? Doesn't seem so glamorous now you've had a peek at the sordid underbelly of the world into which you seem so eager to leap. You know, you're not the first one to come to this office and express such urges. At one time or another, we've all had the itch. It's not the kind of thing that can be cleared up with a quick shot of penicillin. So before you go trotting off to Black Pudding Land, it's important that you are sure you have the strength of character to survive without your brain turning into rice pudding. For this purpose we have, over the years, devised and refined a simple test. This is it, Tompkins. Your moment of reckoning. You want to be working class? Fine. Let's just see how committed you are. Let's see how deep into the gutter you are willing to plunge.
Oh, bloody hell! It's a Bombay bad boy!
Wright Funny was performed by
John Fedorenko,
Joey Wright,
Dave McLelland,
Sheila Halse.
and Crawley.
It was written by Danny Antrobus, Brew Crew, Neville Raper, John Fedorenko, Carol Mulcahey and Tair Rafiq. It was produced by The Mechanical Pig.